Hello friends, welcome to the last part of antihypertensive therapy. Here we are seeing the ACE inhibitors. Now ACE inhibitors, these are principally the drugs which are block the conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. Many times in this chapter or chapter before this also we have seen the renin-angiotensin system and where these kind of drugs are acting. So they block the enzyme, angiotensin converting enzyme, which actually responsible for conversion of angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. So angiotensin 2, a potent vasopressor agent, the synthesis of it is blocked, and by that way it reverse the vasopressor effect, and we get the antihypertensive effect. So angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor causes arterial dilation by blocking the vasoconstriction. It reduces the arterial dilation, they reduces the peripheral vascular resistance, and thereby they reduces the afterload of the heart, afterload of the heart. It also increases the cardiac output, stroke volume, stroke work, but there is no alteration in the heart rate. The force of contraction is increased, the conductivity is increased, but the rate has not been increased. The heart rate has not been increased. Only the cardiac output and stroke volume and stroke work has been increased. So this is the main beauty of ACE inhibitors. That is angiotensin blockers. You can say angiotensin synthesis blocker. The venous capacitance is decreased, the vasodilation with the decreased venous return lead to the reduced preload. This is one of the major effect of this ACE inhibitor of the blood vessel. Better exercise tolerance and improve the hemodynamics. This is again the one improvement in it. And the specific adverse effect related to it includes the hypotension, hyperkalemia, renal insufficiency, fetal abnormalities in the pregnancy, fetal kidney formations in the fetus. These are the limitations due to that. So it is not recommended in a pregnancy condition. Cough, angioedema, and anemia. These are the adverse effect of ACE inhibitors. Next category is angiotensin receptor antagonists. So where the drugs act on the receptor where angiotensin is active. So angiotensin specifically act on vascular smooth muscle, adrenal cortex, or kidney, or uterus, or brain through the AT1 or AT2 receptor, angiotensin 1 or angiotensin 2 receptor. These are the two receptor where the angiotensin, the potent vasopressor agent, act. So these agents block this receptor and does not allow the angiotensin to act on this. So the example of such drugs are losartan, valsartan. So these are having a specific new type of a category has been developed in antihypertensive agent due to this category of drug. So what happens that these drugs like angiotensin receptor antagonist, they displaces the angiotensin from the receptor, AT1 receptor specifically, and lower the blood pressure. So AT1 receptor, the angiotensin 2 act on AT1 receptor, and thereby it elicits its pharmacological effect. So therefore the drug displaces the angiotensin 2 from that receptor, and therefore by that way they lowers the blood pressure. So angiotensin receptor antagonist they are. So they antagonizes the vasoconstriction action, aldosterone release, catecholamine release, arginine vasopressin release. But these effects are a little bit minor. The displacement of AT1 receptor for the blood pressure is a major effect out of it, responsible for antihypertensive effect. They are advocated for the use in hypertension. Nowadays, beside the beta blocker and diuretics, these are the only category of a drug which are advocated for the hypertensive chemotherapy. Effective and superior to the ACE inhibitors, converting enzyme inhibitors in the management of CHF as well as hypertension. The side effects are similar to that of ACE inhibitor. Ultimately, there is a reduction in angiotensin. So either by way of a synthesis inhibition or by at the blocker side, they are the same. The only thing is that ACE inhibitors are a little bit drastic, therefore the side effects are also drastic. The side effects are lesser in intensity as far as the receptor. Next category is diuretics. Diuretics specifically causes the sodium depletion with corresponding loss of extracellular volume from the blood. So there is a decrease in blood volume, and thereby it decreases the blood pressure as well as the cardiac output. So initially the peripheral vascular resistance is also increased due to the diuretic, but it can become normalized over a period of time. As the period passes, it reaches to the normal. There is effective reduction in the blood pressure up to 10 to 15 millimeter of Hg. I think this part we have already seen whenever there is congestive heart failure. So congestive heart failure leading to the hypertension, and this hypertension is counteracted by using this diuretics only. So very similar to that of here also. So usually they are not given alone, they are always combined with the vasodilators and beta blocker. Diuretics are not given as an antihypertensive alone, they are always combined. Thiazides, they are used in a moderate to mild hypertension, but it has the one limitation that it produces hypokalemia as a serious side effect, and this hypokalemia may precipitate the arrhythmia. Next chapter, next coming chapters, we will be seeing this arrhythmia and how this hypokalemia is related to that. So thiazide diuretic specifically has the very serious side effect, and that produces the hypokalemia. Then there is another category of diuretic, that is loose diuretic. Example is a furosemide, which is effective for the severe hypertension. For the severe hypertension, loose diuretic is used. Potassium sparing diuretics are the weak antihypertensive and rarely used. They are also used in combination with the thiazide specifically. So this is what about. So the next category is vasodilator. The example of drug is hydralazine and minoxidil. Hydralazine, it is actually causing the direct relaxation of arterial smooth muscle without any mediators. So these vasodilators like viloxazine and minoxidil, these are the drugs which are having the similar pharmacology as that of we have already studied in congestive heart failure. The congestive heart failure induced hypertensions where these drugs are used. So the same over here we are studying here again. The But actually these are not the choice of drug, because the better drugs are available like beta blockers, diuretic, AT1 inhibitors or ACE inhibitors. So these are the drug of choice, but anyhow these are also used in many conditions. Therefore we have to study this. They causes reflex sympathomimetic activity. These are the limitations of it. Tachycardia, increased myocardial contractility, increase in renin activity and fluid retention. They also decreases the peripheral resistance and cause the fall in the blood pressure. These are the limitations of the hydralazines. Minoxidil, it is one of the four drugs which is taken in and converted to active metabolite, sulfate basically, minoxidil NO sulfate, causing the vasodilation by opening the potassium channel. So this active metabolite act on a potassium channel and thereby causing the vasodilation. They do not cause the venodilation, hence they do not cause the postural hypotension. They specifically act on the potassium channel and causes the vasodilation, but not the venodilation. Venodilations where the pooling of the blood can be there and which is leading to the postural hypotension. So it does not act on veins, so therefore pooling of the blood will not take place and the postural hypotension side effect will not take place. So it also causes the myocardial contractility, heart rate, myocardial oxygen consumption, but these effects are blocked by the beta blockers, reversed by them. So myocardial induced contractility or heart rate, these are blocked by the beta blockers. This is one of the can say gimmick behind this. It is also used in moderate to severe hypertension condition in combination with the diuretics and beta blockers. So minoxidil is a drug which is used in moderate conditions and not alone, always in combination with diuretics and beta blockers. So these are all about the antihypertensive agents. If you have any kind of difficulty, doubt, or any kind of justification, if you required further clarification you required, then you are very free to contact me on a telephone or email me on this numbers. Thank you very much.